My husband has spent 10 years visiting his sister's grave every Sunday. But today, I followed him to a house with a swing set. Every Sunday for the last decade, Dave has spent 4 hours visiting his sister's grave in a town 2 hours away. He always comes back with red-rimmed eyes, smelling faintly of expensive lilies, and he doesn't want to talk for the rest of the night. I've always respected his grief. I even stayed home from the funeral years ago because he said it was too private and he couldn't handle me seeing him that broken. We have a good life. We have a 3-year-old daughter, a mortgage, and a dog. But lately the math hasn't been adding up. Our joint savings account has been leaking about $500 every month, labeled as miscellaneous. When I asked him about it, he just snapped and said, "It's for the perpetual care of the plot." Sarah, do you really want to argue about my dead sister's resting place? I felt like the world's biggest jerk until last Sunday. Dave left at 9 a.m. like always. At 9:15, I put our daughter at my mom's house and followed his GPS signal. I'd installed a tracker on his car a week prior because the miscellaneous charges had jumped to $1,000. I expected to end up at a cemetery. I expected to feel guilty and go home. Instead, I followed him to a quiet, upscale neighborhood in the suburbs. He pulled into the driveway of a charming yellow house with a massive wooden swing set in the front yard. A woman came out, vibrant, laughing, and very much alive. A little boy, maybe 5 years old, ran out and tackled Dave's legs. Dave picked him up, kissed his forehead, and handed the woman a bouquet of lilies. I sat in my car 3 houses down, my heart hammering against my ribs so hard it felt like it would crack. I was convinced I was watching his second family. I was ready to drive the car into their living room. I waited until he left 3 hours later, then I walked up to that front door. I didn't have a plan. I just knocked. The woman opened it, still holding the lilies. She looked at me and her face went pale. She has Dave's eyes, exactly his eyes. "You're Sarah," she whispered. "Who are you?" I asked, my voice shaking because Dave told me you died in a car accident in 2014. She let out a shaky breath and ushered me inside. Her name is Maya. She is in fact his sister. She didn't die. What actually happened was much darker. Our perfect in-laws. Dave's parents are incredibly wealthy and strictly religious. When Maya got pregnant at 19 by a man they didn't approve of, they told her she was dead to them. Literally. They held a small, closed-casket funeral for the community, told everyone she had passed away, and cut her off completely to save the family's reputation. Dave was the only one who refused to let her go. For 10 years, he's been the one paying her rent, buying her groceries, and being a father figure to her son. He used the grave story because his parents threatened to cut him out of the inheritance money we are currently using to pay for our house if he ever spoke to her again. When Dave got home that night, I was sitting at the kitchen table with Maya's phone number on a piece of paper. He saw it and just collapsed into a chair. He started sobbing, telling me he was trapped. He said if he told me the truth, I'd make him choose between the blood money from his parents or his sister, and he couldn't lose either. Now he wants me to keep the secret. He wants us to keep taking his parents' inheritance money while pretending Maya doesn't exist. He says it's the only way to win. But I look at my daughter, and then I think about Maya's son, cousins who aren't allowed to know each other because of a lie. I told him I want to invite Maya to Christmas. He told me if I do, his parents will ruin us financially, and we will lose the house. My mom says I should stay quiet and take the money for my daughter's future. Maya says she's used to being a ghost. But every time I look at Dave now, I don't see a grieving brother. I see a man who sold his sister's life for a mortgage. Am I a gold digger if I stay silent to keep my house? Or am I a homewrecker if I blow up the family for the truth?